week 4 and week 5 of the data engineering boot camp, the free one, and we will be going live here for probably about 90 minutes. We're going to be covering Q&A, anything that y'all might be interested in learning about. I am here for you. Know that we are now live and here for y'all to learn from me or whatever you want to do here. Hopefully we can get a bunch of people in here and we can answer as many questions as possible. I'm currently in Mission Bay, San Francisco. I'm on the 13th floor of a hotel, the Luma Hotel. It's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm excited to see where people kind of run in here and get some more questions rolling, right? Because I can tell it's going to be a really exciting time as we kind of wrap up this boot camp and get into the beginning of next year. So it should be pretty awesome. I'm excited. Welcome people who are rolling in now from YouTube. And if y'all have any questions, know that this is a Q&A. We're opening it up to whatever questions y'all might have about data engineering, AI, the January boot camp, learning platforms, learning streams, whatever things that you might be interested in learning about. Know that I am here to teach y'all whatever you want to learn about. So make sure to get those chats rolling in, and we can get this rolling. I think it'll be a really good time. I can tell that we have a lot more people rolling in now. But I'm excited. The January bootcamp launches in about 10 days. So we have 10 days to really get going and get rolling on that. Should be a good time. I'm back in San Francisco. I'm probably going to be getting an apartment here pretty soon, so we can have a more stable living environment. There's 3 more videos left in the free bootcamp. We have data impact and visualization, which is one video. We have data pipeline maintenance as another video, and then we have KPIs and experimentation as the third video. Those are going to be the 3 videos that are left to publish in the V2 bootcamp, or the free bootcamp, which is the V2 bootcamp. And so I hope y'all are excited. I'm really sorry. It might take me till the 2nd or 3rd of January to actually finish the publishing schedule. It ended up being a little bit more intense than I thought it was going to be, delivering stuff. What are the different tracks in data engineering? Is it only analytics and infrastructure? Well, there's other tracks. If you want to do more real-time stuff, or you want to do more platform stuff, you can be more of a data platform engineer. You might be doing stuff Kafka and Flink and real-time stuff, or you might be doing more things in a different vein of work, right? There's all sorts of different work that you can potentially do in data engineering, and I don't like tracks as a definition. It's because really the analytics track is going to be analytics engineering. That's honestly what it actually is. And so if you are being more transparent about stuff, that's honestly what it actually is. And so definitely know that that's what you're going to be looking for as you are in your data engineering career. Thanks for all the videos. Waiting for assignment upload links for Flink and analytical patterns. Yeah, we'll get those rolling pretty soon. I've been doing this all myself, so I'm trying my best. Hopefully y'all will forgive me because it's also the holidays, and I'm busting my entire ass right now, and it's good. I'm happy about it. But if y'all are interested in the January bootcamp, it should be a really good time. We're going to be covering Iceberg and Airflow and Spark on Databricks and Snowflake and dbt and Kafka and Spark streaming. It's going to get real technical real quick. It should be a really good time. Some of y'all are probably going to pick the Snowflake track. Some of y'all are probably going to pick the Databricks track. Why Iceberg, not Delta? Because Iceberg is more popular. Iceberg is the better option. It is the better option for sure. And that's why Databricks paid $2 billion for Iceberg. I don't know if you knew that. They paid $2 billion, right? And Databricks ultimately is going to merge the two. Delta and Iceberg are going to be one standard. So why Iceberg, not Delta, is saying they're going to merge into one thing eventually anyways. So it doesn't really matter which one you learn. You can learn, it's why tomato, not tomato, right? They're going to be the same thing over the long run here, right? Because that's the whole idea. That's why Databricks bought them, is so that they can ultimately merge into one big kind of thing in the end, So that's something that you want to be thinking about as you're going through your career, is thinking about how are these technologies going to change, and how are we going to get our learning ahead of the curve. Because the more ahead of the curve you are in your learning, the more money you're going to make, right? Although I'm running behind schedule at bootcamp, appreciate your work and thanks for all the efforts in the videos. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's fine if you're running behind. We give people a month, right? So I might end up pulling the videos on like February 2nd or February 3rd instead of January 31st because of the fact that I might not publish the last video until the 2nd or 3rd of January because I'm a little bit behind. Bad enough we had a framework wars. Now we have data storage format wars. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like how it is. There's always going to be wars. Wars are a good thing though, honestly, because like the more competition, the better, right? Because then we have more and more battles for people, right? Dude, I get this question every time. Thoughts on Microsoft Fabric? It's a framework. It's a thing, right? I don't know what are you expecting to get from asking this question? Right? I don't know what I'm supposed to say there. Like, yeah, it's a thing. It's something that people use. Congratulations on asking a question that, like, yeah, it's something that you can use. Like, do I think it's great? No. Do I think it's better than Databricks? No. Do I think that it's something that a lot of people are going to use? Yeah. It's like the Microsoft SQL Server of data platforms. Fabric is the Microsoft SQL Server of data platforms. Will a lot of people use it? Yes. Is it the best option? Never. Right, that's my opinion of Fabric, and that's probably my opinion on Fabric forever. Right, and that's why I'll probably never teach it because it's like, why would I teach that? That's like it's like teaching C#. It's like I'm not gonna do that. Like it's just like one of those things that I've just like I can't do it. Can't like bring myself to freaking to do that. Like I'm trying to see like I'm supposed to be live on Twitter as well right now, but I'm freaking not for some reason. Like it's so weird. Maybe I need to like, okay, no, it says I am live. Okay, cool. I am live. It's just like, it's not actually like showing the chat from the people in Twitter. So that's super annoying. Like, 1 second. Let me pause this. Can I see the chat here? I cannot see the chat. Okay, interesting. I'm trying Riverside out right now, and like the only people I can see in here are the YouTube people. I can't see freaking Twitter or freaking LinkedIn people. How to apply data quality for real-time pipelines? Is it different from the batch ones? Yes, obviously, because like batch and real-time pipelines batch pipelines have the freaking luxury of being able to easily look at history, whereas real-time pipelines do not, right? So you need to like look at it significantly differently. Like row level data quality is easy, right? Like nulls where nulls aren't supposed to be, very easy. Or emails that need to be formatted the right way, or phone numbers that need to be formatted the right way, or freaking, like a column that needs to be a specific enumeration. That stuff is very easy for real time, and it's very easy for batch because it's like you can check the data quality of a single record, but like to look at the data quality over time, right, you also need to look at like how much data there is today versus how much data there was a week ago or 2 weeks ago or a month ago. And so like, that data quality stuff is significantly more tricky to do in real time because of the fact that like the data just keeps coming in. And so like generally speaking, that's where you're going to be using some sort of windowing function, like probably a tumbling window. There's probably a tumbling window that you're going to be working with in real time to be able to process that, because that's going to be one way to do it. Another way to do it is that you just do not do those types of historical checks in real time, and you only do those in batch after you collect the data in real time, and then you do batch later on, and then you do batch data quality checks after that. That's kind of like that Lambda architecture. That's something that they do at Facebook and at Airbnb. As a data engineer, what should I learn about AI to apply it to my work and prepare for what's coming? What tools are currently available? Learn about vector databases, semantic search. Learn about how to process unstructured data and semi-structured data. That's going to be good things, right? AWS step functions or Airflow over AWS. It depends. Just like with every damn thing, whenever like you are working with any freaking technology or any decision making, there's always, like when you're picking a technology, you always have to be thinking about like, why are you picking that technology? What is the purpose of that technology? Like there's a lot of things that need to happen there. Like it's not like, oh, Zach prefers this technology, therefore it's the best. Like, no. Like if you only take my opinion and then take that as like the gospel and that's the Bible of like your technology decisions, I'll be very sad, and I think that you're a bad engineer, right? So the whole idea of like AWS step functions is great, right? Wait, do you plan on using your YouTube channel to produce other content outside of company, like your older videos? I mean, maybe. Like my older videos didn't do very well, so like I guess like I don't know. That's gonna be one thing to be thinking about. Hi, Zach. With the Data Expert monthly subscription, can I follow the bootcamp at my own pace, or is it a completely different set of content? So you get access to live bootcamp content you get access to on a delayed schedule. So if you want access to the live bootcamp material, you do not get it live while the bootcamp is in session. You need to buy the bootcamp. So you get it a month afterwards. So you can get, like, if you want the freaking 2025 bootcamp, you're going to need to wait till March. So if you subscribe in March, you can have it. You cannot follow along. The only way that you can follow along is if you buy the live bootcamp. That's like literally how it works. That's how, and that's why it's so valuable, and that's why you can do a lot of good stuff, right? Right. So, you know what? I officially have banned this question. I will never try Microsoft Fabric. I give zero fucks about Microsoft Fabric. I will never do Microsoft Fabric. I do not care. That question is officially banned from lives going forward. All right, and I will never answer that question. I will only ignore that question going forward. That is my answer to that question. All right. What's the first vector database to learn? Just learn Pinecone. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because they're all the same. You could learn Pinecone or you can learn PG vector. You could actually extend Postgres to do vector search and semantic search. So you can definitely do that as well. What's the most used one and have edge over others? It doesn't matter. It's just learn the fundamentals. It doesn't fucking matter what one you learn. You just have to learn how a vector database works, right? And then after that, like, for your job, it doesn't matter if you picked the hottest, greatest, best, sexiest technology. It doesn't fucking matter because guess what? If at that point you have the fundamentals down and you will pass the interview, and that's all that matters, right? And so that's the way you want to be thinking about things. I think that people over-optimize their career, right? How to learn to optimize Spark jobs on EMR clusters. Learn to optimize individual Spark jobs. It doesn't really fucking matter that it's on an EMR cluster, right? I mean, the EMR cluster will give you more or less resources, which can be a difference, but that's about it. Like, besides that, like, you just need to learn how to actually optimize an individual Spark job. Like, is the job skewed? Do you know about adaptive query execution? Go watch the 4 hours of Spark that I have on my freaking channel, on my YouTube channel. Go watch it. There's like 4 hours, advanced Spark, UDFs, freaking memory tuning. It's all there. So if you go watch those 4 hours of content, you will be much more ready for freaking optimizing Spark jobs. All right. It doesn't matter that it's on EMR or on Glue or on Azure or on your own fucking on-prem cluster. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it only matters, like, the individual job performance is the thing that matters the most. And then how those resources get allocated is, generally speaking, not a data engineer's job. That's generally speaking a data platform job. Or like, you might be on Databricks and then it's serverless. And then if it's serverless, you don't even have to manage that at all. Like, you don't even need EMR, right? So like, it all depends on what company you work for, right? And then like, in those cases with EMR cluster, you want to make sure that like you're getting like a uniform or like a fair distribution channel, right? When will Analytics Engineer Bootcamp be available in the subscription? Fairly soon. Probably, like, I'm busting my ass right now. I'm super burnt out, and like, it's not something that's a priority for me because I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference for sales. But hopefully in January. What should be next career step for someone who is a data engineer for 10 years, cloud data architect or Gen AI architect? It depends on what you want to do. Like, I think cloud architect's probably the better play. Because Gen AI is like Gen AI is hot and sexy, and that usually means that it's probably not the best play. The best play is usually boring. The boring role is the better play because that's the one that's going to stick around for a long time. Whereas Gen AI may or may not stick around. You know, like, if you have 10 years of experience, just do cloud data architect, and that's more fundamental anyways. And then like, if you have the cloud data architecture stuff, then you can build on that and then maybe add Gen AI. That's like just another layer to it, right? Where you can move into that. And like, it's probably an easier transition from data engineer to cloud data architect than it is from data engineer to Gen AI architect, because that Gen AI architect is going to expect more AI statistics, probability skills. That is a little bit closer to more of like a data scientist role than it is to a data engineering role. So that's where I think, but the cloud data architect role is going to be a lot closer to data engineer, right? Because those roles are very similar. It's like, do you have freaking a foothold on all that stuff? Because if you do, great, right? And I'm excited, y'all. The January bootcamp is going to be freaking fire. I hope you guys realize that it's going to be a really fire time. Someone was asking how much is the January bootcamp. You can get it for 20% off right now. It's $2,000. Highly recommend checking it out. How long does it take to be a cloud data architect if I start today? 7 years. Like, we'll go with that. I don't know, 1238 Shri. I don't know, are you like a random person on the street with no coding skills? I have no idea. When people ask questions like this, I never know how to answer it because I do not know you as a person, so I have no idea. It could take you might be a senior data engineer at Facebook, and then in that case, it might be 6 months. You might have absolutely no coding skills at all, and in that case, it might be 7 years, right? So like, understand that like I can't answer these questions unless I have a lot more information about you, and they're just bad questions, right? If you are a Netflix data engineer, how do you solve their tech problems happen during boxing match? Well, first off, that's not a data engineering problem. That's a data infrastructure problem. Which is not a data engineer's role. In that case, there was just way too much pressure. So the main thing there was actually a UI problem that crashed everything, right? So because they had this refresh thing where the UI essentially kept trying to request the resources again and again and again, and it caused the failure to kind of put increasing demand on the server because of the retry logic in the front end. So like that was actually the thing that was the problem. This is a great question. What's covered in the bootcamp? How long is the bootcamp? January 6th to February 14th is the length of the bootcamp, 6 weeks. Week 1 is Iceberg and data modeling. Week 2 is Airflow and data quality. Weeks 3 through 5 are split. So like you can either pick the analytics track and then you do Snowflake and DBT for 3 weeks, or you pick the infrastructure track, and in that case, you do Databricks for 2 weeks, and then you do Kafka and Spark streaming for a week. And then the final week is a bonus week about LLMs and vector databases and RAG and stuff like that. So that's going to be that's the bootcamp, and it should be a great time. And then if you get certified at the end of it, we will match you with a mentor who will help you get a job and help you with your interview skills, help you build more confidence in that kind of space so you can have a better spot, right? For a startup having hundreds of gigabytes in prod, is it necessary to go with Spark, or does a data warehouse solution like ClickHouse is enough with Debezium pipelines? It's enough. Don't use Spark. You don't have to use Spark. When should we move to Spark, and is it possible to have real-time pipelines with a data lakehouse? Spark doesn't have real-time. It only has near real-time with Spark streaming. So you'd have to use something like Flink if you want actual real-time. Does it make a big of a difference to be advanced in data structures and algorithms? Yes, because guess what? Most data engineers suck at it, and that's going to be something that can differentiate you. If you're not good at data structures and algorithms, you're never going to make 600K as a data engineer. You're never going to make the fucking the paychecks that are like super fatty. Right? If you want to make 300, 400, 500K as a data engineer, you got to know data structures and algorithms, because you're going to be asked that in any big tech interview. Like, it's going to be there. So it makes a very big difference. Yeah, for sure. So just grind it. It's easy. It doesn't take that much time. You can get good at data structures and algorithms in like 3 months if you just practice and focus, right? That's going to be the big thing to remember. And you don't even need to know like super advanced stuff, like especially if you just know like stacks and queues and heaps and maps and recursion and like the initial stuff like binary search, and maybe a little bit of like breadth first and depth first search. If you know those topics in particular, like you'll probably crush it as a data engineer in big tech. Because that's like every topic I just listed, that is, I've been interviewing in big tech for 10 years, and like, that's it. That's it. What's your take on AWS S3 integration with Parquet tables? It's not Parquet tables, it's Iceberg tables. Iceberg tables is what they're integrating with, not Parquet. Big difference. Parquet is just a file format. Iceberg is the metadata management layer that allows you to do all sorts of idempotent inserts, ACID compliance, and you also can do time travel. Right? It's amazing. It's amazing. I think S3 and Amazon, they're gunning for Databricks. Right? They're like, you don't need Databricks. You could just use S3 for everything. Right? And like, I mean, I'm like, part of me is like, yeah, you kind of can. You kind of can just use S3 for everything. It's freaking nuts. Right? Is data engineering under backend section? I don't know what the fuck that means. Right? I found the long array metrics pattern really interesting, especially encoding the dates as binary. Crazy stuff. Are there any books you'd suggest to complement with your bootcamp? Just the Fundamentals of Data Engineering. Fundamentals of Data Engineering is a good book that you can check out. My bootcamp is mostly supposed to just inspire you to think differently and to think more clearly about things, about how like you could store data in a million different ways. And just because you can store things as bits doesn't necessarily mean you should, because like your downstream consumers might have no idea how to read those bit arrays and those bits. And so like just because it's compact doesn't necessarily mean that it's usable. And I hope that y'all like remember that. And because if you guys are just creating bits all the time and then you're making unusable data sets for your downstream consumers, I will be very sad. And that will defeat the purpose of this entire bootcamp. Luke saying, hey, Zach, started data engineering a few months ago. Appreciate your content and inspiration. Thanks, dude. Yeah, for sure, Luke. I appreciate you. Thanks for the positive energy. Yeah, everyone. So we're going to be launching the January bootcamp January 6th. The last day you can buy is January 4th. So if you want in, you can get in, and I'm excited for it. I think we have like about 150 people who are in there right now. What do you think of data mesh? Do you know any success stories? I know a lot of failures. I've seen Netflix fail to implement it. I've seen Airbnb fail to implement it. I've seen Uber successfully implement it. I think that data mesh is the future. I mean, I don't like talking about data mesh because data mesh essentially says that data engineers are no longer needed. So, I don't know. That's kind of bad, right? And and I think that successfully implementing data mesh does remove data engineers from the equation, and that is something that, like, I don't know, it's kind of gloom and doom a little bit, so I don't really talk about it. So why haven't Spark GraphX libraries not so used as others? Do you think GraphX has potential with Gen AI? No. I mean, at the very high end of scale, yes. Spark GraphX is really only used like when you're working with like billions of nodes and billions of edges. And then it's a very hyperscale graph processor. It's very good at processing very, very high scale data. But like the problem with Spark GraphX is it's very high latency as well. So like a lot of times when you're doing a graph database, you have this low latency requirement. And that's Spark GraphX just doesn't have that, right? It's like you're going to compute a graph in batch, and then that's it. And a lot of times they want batch analytics that are low latency, and then you can't use Spark GraphX. You need to use something else like Neo4j or Neptune or freaking God forbid like PostGraphIL, something like that, you know? Like and so that's the problem with Spark GraphX is it's just too slow, right? Any tips for navigating the challenging tech job market? Start making content on LinkedIn, build your personal brand, network every day, send out 10 to 15 LinkedIn DMs every day to talk with people and network. I'm sure you're not doing that. Hi, Zach. What were the data viz platforms your students used for the AE bootcamp? Also, why would you recommend not using Tableau? You could use Tableau all you want. Tableau is what we use. We're going to use Tableau in the free bootcamp. It all depends. Like again, like I hate technology recommendations. Just like I say, I don't really like Fabric. Guess what? There are people making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars working with Microsoft Fabric, right? And it's like, guess what? So that means that it's a good option. And guess what? Tableau, same way, good option. I think that Tableau, the problem with Tableau is that it kind of masks a little bit of the technicals behind Viz creation, which it's kind of similar to like Talend or Informatica, where like it makes it too easy and it's too drag and drop. And once you're in that kind of drag and drop space, like your technical skills don't grow as quickly. And I don't like that specifically. And so I think that is the way you want to be thinking about it. What do you think about Data Vault? I think it's a good way to build. I use Data Vault as a part of my freaking data modeling at Airbnb to model the availability inputs of my data pipelines. And you keep adding on, and like allowing this combined data set to then be pulled from, and then you can generate really powerful analytics from. Like I found Data Vault modeling to be very powerful. Like I think that it's a little bit too rigid. Like if you go by the actual guidelines that they talk about in Data Vault 2.0, like the guidelines are very rigid, and I don't like that about it. But like the underlying goal and the underlying concept of like get your raw data into its most usable state, but also by keeping it around, keeping it kind of untransformed, and then being able to track the mutations over time in your raw data is a very powerful technique that I think is really, really good. But like I feel like following Data Vault like religiously is something that felt painful, and so I didn't do that at Airbnb, but I followed like it was kind of like a mix between Data Vault and One Big Table that I followed at Airbnb. It was a mix of those two modeling techniques that were really good. And obviously, like that's how modeling works, right? Is that you can pick and choose and match, and you can kind of like try to match the model to the use case to minimize pain. And so I think that Data Vault is a good option in that regard. And obviously, like that's probably something I will be covering at some point in the future because I get asked about it every single fucking day of my entire life. Not as often as Fabric, but like freaking definitely up there. Definitely up there. Like in terms of just like, it's one of those things that I just like, I don't know, I just don't care to talk about that much. It's like Data Vault, Data Mesh, Fabric, freaking all these things that people, they hear in the ethos and they're scared about, but they don't really know what's going on. And they're like, oh no, like the future is going to be scary. And it's like, yeah, but like you don't even really know, right? You don't really know where things are going to go. And so you want to be careful about that. What's your favorite service among Kafka, PubSub, Amazon Kinesis? Kafka. Kafka's the best. I don't know. That's my perspective. Just because Kafka is like very resilient. But PubSub is Kafka. These three things are the same fucking thing. They're just sending events. Like, can you send events in an event-driven architecture? Great. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that much which one you pick. When should I use Spark and when should I use a data warehouse directly? It depends. It depends a lot on your overarching data, like your data engineering strategy and your data platform strategy at the highest level, right? Like, I mean, are you a BigQuery shop? If you use BigQuery, like you might never need to use Spark ever, right? Are you a company that like is very heavily invested in Databricks? Then you might be using Spark very often, right? So like, this question is very difficult to answer, a very difficult question to answer because like it really depends on the business context. Hi, Zach, I'm only doing web scraping. What should can I show this on the stream? Hi, Zach, I'm doing only web scraping. What should I do next? Please help. What would you do? I don't know. Build a freaking data platform. I don't know. Put it into BigQuery, visualize it, make Viz, like do it end to end. If you're scraping data, freaking process it, parse it, turn it into rows and columns, dump it into a freaking data warehouse, make a visualization. That's what my students do in their portfolio projects. And then they get jobs. So that's another way to do it, right? I think that that's a very common thing to do. Or like work with API data, right? A lot of my students work with like stock market API data or meme coin API data, right? Advice for up and coming content creators, nice 2024 growth from the newsletter. Great question. So if you're an up and coming content creator, like the big things are pick one platform, stick to it, figure it out, grind on it. And then like that would be my main thing that I would say is like find other creators who are at your level. Like find other creators who are near like whatever, if you're at 10K or 50K or 100K, whatever follower count you have. Like try and find other creators who are near you, and then I think you'll find that there's a lot of power in doing that as well. Like I know that like I highly recommend checking that stuff out, right? Because like building your brand is so crazy. It's one of those things that I've just been doing great. The AE YouTube presentation was lit. Great work by all the folks. Yeah, dude. And the January bootcamp's going to be even crazier because we have a lot more students. So like. There's going to be some projects from the January bootcamp that are absolutely bananas that I'm so excited for. And if you can build more projects like that, that's how you do it, right? So here, I'm going to, so if you go to this URL, let me show this on stream. So you can get 20% off the January 6th bootcamp by going to dataexpert.io/launch20. You get 20% off, that'd be great. Could you share specific advice on excelling at system design or mastering cloud providers to stand out? Your insight would be invaluable. This is like such a generic question. Just like learn about CAP theorem. You know CAP theorem, right? If you understand CAP theorem, that's a fucking great place to start. Understand the difference between Lambda and Kappa architectures and when you should use which one. understand ACID compliant databases, understand the opposite of ACID. There's base databases like Cassandra. Cassandra is a base database, which is it's like a soft state, eventually consistent database. If you do that, that'd be great. I'm curious about current demand between Delta Lake and Snowflake. They're both widely adopted. All right, there you go. Like, which one do you see is more widely adopted? Like, why does it fucking matter which one's more widely adopted if they're both widely adopted? That's my question. Back to you. What information? How would that change your approach, right? Because one of the things about them is it's very different. They're very different, right? Do you have any advice on managing a blog? Yeah, write consistently. Make sure to get sponsors so that you actually can get paid. So like if you're not making money from your blog, like it's very hard to stay consistent. Get subs, work on newsletter. So newsletter is really great because especially on Substack, because you can get recommendations so you can grow passively. So I have like 200 newsletters that recommend me and I just grow passively. I get 5,000 emails a month doing nothing. Why is it hard to find a setup for Spark Cluster with a number of workers locally? I managed to get it up and running at the end to experiment. Was satisfying getting the cluster working with 700 million rows of data. Great. I mean, because most people just use Databricks nowadays, and it's easier and it's simpler, and just use platforms. Like you don't have to just bust your entire ass with Docker and suffering and wanting to shoot yourself in the head, because it's like, why do that when you can just use a platform? What's up with graph databases? I think they're great. They're going to be really good for LLM because you can do contextual lookups, so you can see like in a query like what are the things that are showing up, and so like, you can bolt down the response from an LLM to minimize the chance of a hallucination. So, and if you do that, that's freaking really powerful. And like I would say that's it's great. I think they have a long journey here of a space here, like because you have like vector search and graph. So vector search plus graph in a RAG model, those three things together. So you do a vector search for semantic search, and then you do graph database to do an entity-based search. So then you do query expansion with those two things, right? So you have the semantic search and the entity search, and then that bolts down the LLM with the contextual information that it needs to correctly answer your question. And then the LLM is going to hallucinate a lot less. And I do exactly this for my bootcamp. My chatbot in my bootcamp, the tech creator chatbot, does exactly that. It does the semantic search and the graph database search to bolt down to answer questions, because it has a lot of context around like where the homework is, what homework is this, what homework is that. And so it has all those connections built up. And so, yeah, definitely. How do you learn? What are your sources? How much time do you allocate to learning? I learn by building. I just eat and suffer. So I'm like, I want to build a RAG model. So I build a RAG model and I try it out. And then I will Google how to build a RAG model, or use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give me information about how to do that. What are the best events for a data engineer to attend for someone Databricks AI Summit, Snowflake, Databricks AI Summit and Snowflake Summit. Both of them are in June. So yeah, just go to those. I'll be at both. You can take a selfie with me then. I always end up taking like thousands and thousands of selfies when I'm at those summits. But like, know that y'all are answer whatever questions y'all have about data engineering, data science, freaking machine learning, all that stuff. Open source stack or platform based? It depends. It depends. It depends. Are you a company that has a lot of engineers? Then pick an open source stack. If you're a company that doesn't have a lot of engineers, then pick a platform stack, because then you can essentially contract out your data platform team, right? So like, dude, this freaking mic is like fucking up right now. It's like, because it's like bolted to the chair, right? So because there's not a place in this hotel for this to bolt like in the, what the hell? 1 second. See if we can just put it right there. Oh no, he's like sliding. Okay, right here is good. So anyways, yeah, I'm answering any questions y'all might have about data engineering, data science, the boot camp. We have 3 more videos that we're going to be releasing in the next couple days. We have one on KPIs, one on data pipeline maintenance, and one on data visualization and data impact. That one will be using Tableau at the end. You'll see I'm actually a Tableau certified professional, so I hope y'all recognize that. Does SMN know? Does someone know any free tech boot camps in the U.S. that accepts international students? My data engineering boot camp. Why not? Free tech boot camps that accept international students. Imagine if I was like, hey, this is a free boot camp and you're an international student, so you're not allowed in. Like, if it's free, it should accept everybody. It's free. So just, I hope you recognize how rare what I'm doing is right now, where I have this free data engineering bootcamp. I hope you guys recognize why I'm taking it down, because it's also freaking like super rare to do, and it's like super valuable content. And I know I'm helping hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get jobs right now for free, and it's like not a good way for me to run my business, but we're doing it because I want to lend a helping hand to y'all. Who is one of the #1 data science creators you'd recommend? Sundus Khalid. I'll put her name in the chat here. I definitely recommend her. She's the beast. So just check out her. She has. This is who. If you're looking for data science creators, that's definitely who you should be talking to. Want to prep for the data engineering bootcamp in the future? Recent college grad know SQL and Python and Docker, how to get basic understanding of Flink and Kafka. Go take the freaking, I have like a 3-hour video on Flink and Kafka. Go and do it. Just go do it. Just go do it right now. And you can just, if you already have Docker and all that stuff set up, you are pretty much ready. You could probably take my free boot, or you could take the paid bootcamp right now, and you'd probably be good. Let me see if I could like bolt this down a little bit more. Just like I'm trying to like, okay. Regarding the January 6th bootcamp, could you please advise how long? It's 6 weeks. 5 weeks technically, five weeks of required material, right? Please don't delete the videos from YouTube since it's so valuable. Bro, no. Just please get through the material on YouTube and so that you can consume it. That is the way it should work, okay? What is Luke saying? Okay, well, what else do we got here? This is a good one. As a data engineer, among all the domains you have worked with, which is most challenging? Healthcare, banking, e-commerce, or any? I mean, it depends on the problems, right? Healthcare and banking have a lot more like privacy restrictions, and they have a lot more like annoying shit to deal with, a lot of like red tape and annoying shit to deal with. E-commerce is usually going to be a little bit higher scale, right? I did advertising at Facebook, advertising and growth at Facebook, and that one was complicated. I found cybersecurity to also be very complicated because like it's hard to measure success, because in cybersecurity, it's like success means that we didn't get hacked, right? And so you're measuring something that didn't happen. So when I worked at Netflix, I found being a data engineer in the cybersecurity space to be very challenging because of that reason, where it's like, how do you measure that things are going well? And if you can't measure things going well, like what are you doing, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I left cybersecurity is because of that, right? Could you recommend any machine learning engineers to learn from? Yeah, Chip Huyen. That's who I would recommend. She's the beast. Here, I'll freaking put her. Put this up here. There we go. Chip Huyen is that's the #1 machine learning person you should follow. If you follow her, she's gonna teach you everything. I love how you have balanced carrots and sticks in the free bootcamp. Keeps me accountable. Yeah, right? I mean, everyone's like, no, please don't take it down. And it's like, then prioritize it. Prioritize it. There's over a month left. I mean, you guys got plenty of time. Plenty of time to get through the content. Like, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, get through it. Figure it out. And I get that it's not for everyone. It's like more of an intermediate boot camp, right? And I think that that's the unfair part about it that some people don't like, is that they're like more in the beginner space and they have to like, they're trying to get through all the prerequisites before January 31st. And for those people, I'm sorry. I will be doing other free boot camps probably in the future. But like this one is needs to come down, right? And that's just the nature of the beast, right? It's the nature of the matter. It's helped me a lot, though. I've grown on YouTube a lot, right? I mean, before I started the free bootcamp, I was at freaking 50K subs, and now I'm at like 150K, right? It's like insane. Like I've gotten like almost 100,000 subs in a month, like, and I'm like, okay, like I guess YouTube is a little bit easier to grow on than I anticipated, but and I'm almost there, like. I need like another 60, 70,000 subs. If I get another 70,000 subs, I will be the biggest data engineering channel on YouTube. So if y'all can get your friends to sub, that would be really great. That's one of my goals. Like one of my goals this year is to be the most followed data engineering creator on every platform, right? That's the goal. Every platform. So right now I have LinkedIn, I have Twitter, I have Substack's close. Me and Seattle Data Guy both have like 100K on Substack. Then we have YouTube. YouTube's close. Andreas Kretz still is beating me on YouTube. And then I have TikTok. I have Instagram. Those two I'm already number one. And so Threads, I'm also number one on Threads. And so it's like, okay, what is left? You know, there's not that much left, I guess. But do I have to do like Blue Sky and all that other shit as well? That'd be crazy. According to you, apart from Apache Huddy, Apache Iceberg, what else open source projects would be the next great thing? I mean, there's a lot there. Pinot, I think Apache Pinot is one that you should check out. Pinot, because I think there's a big push for like more real-time analytics, and I think Pinot is going to be the future there. Pinot is like a really, really powerful technology that I think that sits on top of Kafka and allows you to do real-time analytics that way. So I would recommend checking that out. So, oh my God, guys, I got to tell you, I have the speaker list for the January bootcamp. I have the speaker list. So let's talk. Well, I'm just going to put each person and we can talk about each person real quick. So, we have Joe Reese. Joe Reese is coming back. He's the author of Fundamentals of Data Engineering, the best-selling data engineering book of all time. Then we have Sundus Khalid is also coming. So Sundus is a creator. She's a data science creator. She's a principal analytics lead at Google. She also has like 250K on YouTube, 300K on Instagram. She's a very powerful content creator. She's also coming. Then we have Jason Reed. Jason Reed is amazing. So let's put Jason Reed up. So Jason Reed is he is a co-founder of Tabular, the Apache Iceberg company that got bought for $2 billion. So he and I also worked at Netflix together. So we'll talk probably a bit about Netflix, a bit about Tabular, a bit about Iceberg. Should be a really great time. Then we also have, oh my bad, what's his name? This guy. So his name's Shakha Meir. I think it's Meir. This guy he was a director of data engineering at Meta. He recently left, but he did a lot of awesome data engineering stuff at Meta, right? And then we also have YZ, my friend YZ. He's going to be really awesome. He's going to come in and Yuzhen Sung. He's a principal analytics lead at StatSig, which is like an experimentation company. So he's going to come in, especially for the more analytics-focused data engineers. I think he's going to be a really good fit, right? Okay, let's see. We'll go back to questions now. Say, hi, Zach. Love your content. I'm a big data admin and data engineer from Senegal. My question to you would be, what is for you the must-know technology? Apache Spark. Apache Spark and Apache Kafka are the two that I think are really important, and maybe Snowflake. Snowflake, Databricks, Apache Spark, Apache Kafka. I'm about to graduate and currently interning as DE. Should I focus on specializing Snowflake, Databricks, or focus on my core skills, SQL, Python, Spark? Well, Spark is Databricks, so like, what is the difference there, right? I mean, Databricks, that's what they are all about, is Spark, right? So 100%. Gold plaque, hopefully, maybe 2025. Let's get gold plaque. Let's get 900,000 subs next year, right? General question, the future of data engineering, in your opinion, will be more cloud-based with all the different services and GUI and buttons? It seems like everything have a service in a cloud now. I mean, I think will definitely be more cloud-based. I do not believe that it will be more GUI and buttons. I think that most engineers recognize that like being more of a coding engineer is engineer. I'm gonna post this up here again. There we go. So if you want to get 20% off here, there we go. That'd be great. Let me say, will you be opening more slots for career clarity and discovery call? I mean, those should be there. I'm not taking those calls. That's from Matali. I think that those calls still have. I think there's still spots. Are there not spots? Maybe there's not spots. Maybe we need to update that. But is there anything? Oh yeah. We need to open that for sure. We will be taking more career clarity calls, right? What's the difference between the self-paced versus the boot camp? The bootcamp has live speakers. The bootcamp has mentors. The bootcamp has the ability to get career training and career coaching. Self-paced is just the content, and you get the content on a delayed schedule. So like if you join the self-paced subscription, you will get access to the data engineering bootcamp content in March. So you will get the content. But right now, if you join the self-paced, you'll get all the V4 content, which is really good, by the way. I hope you guys realize I've been filming this and improving this content, and that like even the content that is available right now is really good and changes people's lives. And so that's a good idea. What's your take on cloud certifications? They're interesting. Go get certified. Why not? I think they're not that great. I think people overvalue the piece of paper. They undervalue the learning. And so like if a certification is the only way that you can actually go and learn, go get certified. If you can go learn on your own time, do that and save the money. What is your take on DBT tool? It's great. We spend 2 entire weeks in the bootcamp covering DBT. I think it's a really great tool. Let's see here. Yeah, well, I answered all those questions. It's freaking great. Sometimes I feel like I answer questions really fast, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. But like we have another like 15 minutes here, and then we will be moving off. And like I think one of the things that I want to do for this live is I know that there's going to be some people in here who probably like what I'm going to do is we're going to create another coupon here, New Year coupon percentage. We're going to say 30% off. This is only available till the 31st, and we'll say there's 5 of them. We'll say New Year. Okay. That should be good. Okay, create coupon. Okay, so I know some of y'all probably want a little bit more. So if you can, I created a little bit more of a discount here for a couple of y'all. So if you want to do New Year, you can get 30% off, but you have to buy this year. And so you can get the same, and this is only for the first 5 people. First 5 people, you can get 30% off for either the subscription product or the boot camp for the first 5 people who buy. It should be great. Do you prefer companies depend on one cloud or build apps cloud agnostic way? I don't care. Like it really depends. It really depends on the company and what they're trying to do, right? I think that, again, my opinion on that doesn't matter. It's like what works best for that company works best for that company. Seems like big data engineers' names are or have left big companies. Is there something we don't know? I don't know what the fuck this question is asking. I'm sorry. What time are the bootcamp live streams? I live in Europe. Europe's not going to be a good fit. They're 6 to 8 p.m. 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, by the way, the next 5 people to use this coupon code by the end of the year, you guys can get 30% off. You can get the same discount as Black Friday. So highly recommend checking that out. It's going to be a good deal, and it's going pretty quick. It looks like now it's the next 4 people someone's already bought. So definitely check that out when you get some time. Let's see here. Yeah, like I've wanted to figure out how to do something better for the Europe people, because Asia's not too bad. Like I have people in Australia and Singapore and Japan and South Korea. They take the boot camp and they love it because it's in the morning. But like for Europe, it's in the middle of the night, so it's like really bad. But like yeah, so yeah, you can get 30% off by using this coupon code, and you can actually take advantage of the same Black Friday pricing as someone else. This is only for the next 4 people because we already had someone buy. So definitely think about taking advantage of that as you're thinking about your career and everything. But yeah, I'm here to answer any of y'all's questions about data engineering, data science. I think that there's a lot of different ways to do things. Like, you know, this like, do you prefer cloud companies depend on one cloud or build apps? One of the things about this question is that like, if you do bet on one cloud, then you can kind of like really optimize for it and you can minimize your pain, right? But if you go with a cloud agnostic way, like generally speaking, you can minimize pain quite a bit, but like then in case like you want to move from one cloud to another, you can do that. But like that process is so painful to actually like lift and shift your cloud. Like it's not as easy as you think, right? And so like that's something that most companies like they want to design in a cloud agnostic way so that like, Google or Amazon or freaking Microsoft or Azure or whoever, they can't freaking, they can't, I'm gonna try to say, they can't freaking like bully them with bad pricing. Right, so that is something to be thinking about as you go. Dude, wow! Now we freaking already. Now there's only two. There's only two left, by the way, people. So just letting y'all know this that just freaking like that just popped off for this New Year's discount. There's only two left. So definitely know that we are coming right along here. So, but yeah, let me see if there's other questions we got here. Hi, buddy. I'm in the last problem of the newest homework. So close to finished. Amazing, Luciano. I admire your dedication. I mean, everyone is leaving Google, Netflix, Airbnb. Is there something we don't know? Is it still worthy to join these companies? People leave and join all the time. I left Airbnb. I left Netflix, right? And it's fine. Like, I mean, I think those companies built my career, right? They built my brand. Like, without those companies, I would not be here right now, like, talking to y'all. Like, y'all would not, like, give a shit about my opinion, right? So like, understand that like there's a lot that you can do here, right? So what do you regard as the best employers in the future that you could also consider yourself working for? OpenAI, Anthropic, fucking NVIDIA. Who else? There's a lot there. Airbnb, I'd probably go back to Airbnb. Airbnb is a vibe. Like they're just such a chill company, and they like their work-life balance is amazing. Netflix is great. I think like I would go work at Netflix again. Like if I was younger, I'd probably go work at Netflix again because it's a great company to work for as well. So yeah, just letting everyone know that like this New Year's sale is probably going to be the fastest sale ever. We have 2 more spots left on this New Year's sale. So you can get 30% off if you use New Year at dataexpert.io. How do you deal with a project at work that you can't stand? I feel like I'm mentally close to burnout. Well, talk with your manager about that, right? Talk with your manager and try to get on a new project, maybe, and try to get to the root of why you hate it. It's probably a coworker. It might be the work, but it's probably a coworker who is making you freaking hate this, right? Scala for data engineering is dead. What's your take? I disagree. I mean, I was writing Scala code last year for Airbnb, and like from 2018 to 2023, I've been writing Scala for big tech. So that's like what, 5 years, and as recently as last year. So like, this is in big tech. I was getting paid $600,000 a year to write Scala pipelines in data engineering. Like, I think that there's an interesting perspective about it where like freaking it's shifting a little bit where PySpark is getting more adopted, but there will always be 10 to 15% because the thing is like for those really high scale pipelines, they're not written in PySpark, bro. They're written in Scala because you need the native performance. Scala will always outperform PySpark, right? It will always be it'll be the same or better than PySpark. So like if you're in that space, like you might as well freaking do that, right? Right. So let's see here. Do you dream about stream batch unification, or is it fine leaving them separate? That's what Iceberg does. Iceberg gives you the stream batch unification. That's literally what it does, right? Because it's like you can now do append. You can do append into partitions. Partitions aren't immutable anymore, and you can actually add data to partitions. And that's literally why Iceberg was created, right? Is to unify stream and batch, so that like you can collect data from Kafka and then dump it into Iceberg and collect data incrementally in Iceberg and then allow that data to then be consumed in the batch space after the data has finished completing. And so like that's literally like what Iceberg was all about. That's literally why it was created, is that unification. I think that it will be, you can kind of separate them. I think that for most companies, they really do not need real-time pipelines. They don't need them. Like 90% of companies do not need any real-time pipelines. Manage workflows for Apache Airflow or self-hosted Airflow using K8s. I like managed services. I don't know. But like, I don't give a fuck about this. I think that they both work great. Apache Storm versus Flink. Just use Flink. Storm is dead. I haven't seen anyone talk about Storm in like 5 years. Like Apache Storm is such a like 2013 technology. Like just get the fuck out of here with Storm. Like no more, no mas. Like it's gone. Like it's like Uzi. It's like when people bust out Uzi, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Like this is get your freaking crusty, ancient, dusty ass out of here, right? How do you get good at problem solving? Also, there's a lot of info and alternatives of text when starting a project. So how do you know what to choose? It doesn't really matter what you choose. It's all about getting the technology and the fundamentals right. That's the most important thing. So if you can get the fundamentals right when you're freaking choosing stuff, like you're good to go. Oh yeah, just letting everyone know there's literally one more sale here. One more sale for the this New Year discount, so you can get 30% off. This is the only chance you can get to capitalize on the same pricing as Black Friday that you can get. So, what's your opinion on Astro for Airflow? I love it. I literally use that in the bootcamp. I have a business partnership with Astro. Astro's really great. Like I highly recommend checking out Astro. They make Airflow very, very easy, and so yeah, it's a really good choice. Thoughts about Apache Beam? I think Beam is interesting. I don't like Beam in some regards because of the fact that like you can't optimize the shit out of it, right? Because of the fact that you have one API to write streaming and batch. So because of that, you can't optimize the streaming as much and you can't optimize the batch as much. You give up some control for that abstraction. And when I was at Netflix, we were thinking about using Beam because we needed a Lambda architecture for our streaming and batch pipelines, and we were thinking about using Beam. But the problem is like we could not tune it to have it work the way that we wanted it to. So in that regard, I think you want to be thinking about like other things. But Beam is great for most companies, right? And it's like because you don't really need to tune things as much as you think, especially like if you're not working with billions and billions of rows every day. Like you're probably going to be fine using Beam, and like that's great. I think that's something that you definitely want to be thinking about. What is the number of students that will be in the program for January? I think we're at like 150 right now, something like that. How do you invest your savings? Index investing or crypto? Both. Obviously both. Like mostly index funds. Is there any indicator to know when you're ready to start apply for entry-level data engineer role and ignore imposter syndrome? Start applying. Just start applying. And I think if you start applying, you will be very surprised. Because like if you start applying and you interview, right, and you get a role, you get an offer, then you're ready, right? I think some people need to realize that like you just need to test the market and experiment and just recognize that you might get rejected, and that's painful, but that's totally fine. And my mic just keeps like rolling into my face. What are the top tools for a data engineer without counting the programming languages? Spark, Databricks, Snowflake, DBT, SQL Mesh, fucking Druid, baby, Pinot, Kafka, Flink. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a good list. What do you think is the best company for new grads, interns to join now? Netflix, Google, possibly? Google, probably Google. Like, Google has just so much, right? Just found the bug in my dimensional data modeling code and can finally continue. I'm so happy right now. You don't even know. That's great, Kiko. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. That's like such a great feeling when you are like, oh my God, I conquered this thing. So just letting everyone know we still have one more redemption here on this new year to get 30% off. You can get one more person can get 30% off and capitalize on either the subscription or on the January bootcamp. You can get 30% off right now. I think you can get into the January bootcamp for like $1,700, which is like a really just a steal of a deal. What is the difference on the technical term for pipeline in data engineer versus in DevOps? Well, in data engineer, you're actually moving data that measures the business processes, whereas in DevOps, the pipelines are usually like GitHub action pipelines or they're deploy pipelines, where it's like DevOps lives more in like that CI/CD space. So like you might have a pipeline that takes like a new change and you're trying to deploy that pipeline. And or that's like a set of steps that needs to happen for that change to be good and for that change to be qualified as like ready to go. And that's going to be a very very positive thing. Should data engineers learn data modeling? Yes, 1,000,000,000 trillion, a bajillion, 100 million % yes. Like if you're not learning data modeling, you are a bad data engineer. Like I am very, very adamant about that. What was the biggest leverage for your professional development? A good mentor, finding someone who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. If you can find that person, they will help you overcome a lot of your limiting beliefs. That's what happened when I met Jitender. I met Jitender in 2016 and I was making 150K. And then in 2019, I was making 550K. And he helped me in 3 years go from 150K to 550K. So like, and I never thought I would ever make 550K in my entire life. I thought that was like how much money like surgeons and doctors made, not how much money like data engineers made. Right? What's the better path from your point of view? Data engineering or data science? Data science, because freaking it requires more skills. It's more scarce, and like obviously you should do data science. But like the thing about it is like data engineering is what I know and that's what I teach. But like it all depends on what you want to do. Like the problem with data science is you need like a master's degree, right? And it takes a long time and a lot of effort and a lot of like. That's why I think in terms of like biggest bang for your buck, like data engineering is amazing because you don't need to fucking stay a million trillion quadrillion hours in school. You'd really take Google over Netflix for a new grad now? Yes. Isn't Netflix smaller? Yes, but why does that matter if it's smaller? Google is going to have way more resources available for you to freaking grow and to teach you as a new grad. They're like you got to understand, Netflix has only had new grads for 1 year. Right? They've only taken new grad interns for 1 year. They used to only hire senior engineers. So their new grad program is going to be kind of shit because it's been around for like 1, maybe 2 years. Google's new grad program has been around for like 15 years, right? So it's like, what program is going to be better? A program that's been around for 15 years or a program that's been around for 1 year? Just think about that. How do I join the bootcamp? Go to dataexpert.io. Right? That's all you do, dataexpert.io. And then you got to pay me my money, and then you can join, right? Or you can join the free one. The free one is running right now. Is RAG database deployment will be a new function of data engineering? RAG database is not a thing. RAG database is not a thing. There's vector database, which has semantic search. RAG database is not a thing. RAG is an architecture. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. It's a set of things that you need to do to allow your LLM to hallucinate less and to have more relevant company-based information, which includes things like vector databases and semantic search, which is going to be a part of the data engineering tool belt, 1,000,000%. That is like totally the case. But it will also include things like graph database search and also just normal keyword search on maybe something like Postgres, right? So it's going to have all of that. And RAG is it's an architecture. It's a very open architecture in terms of like what you can actually do with it, right? So are you secretly working on a book, or if you were to write a book, what niche topic would you talk about, right? I mean, great question. Like, I'm not secretly writing a book right now. That would be a lot of work right now. I'm just trying to deliver on my boot camp right now. I might write a book later in the year, but like freaking, that's like a lot of work, right? What's the difference between single payment and subscription? Is it for the boot camp only? Can I buy one-time payment now and join the boot camp later this year when schedule will more Europe friendly? I mean, you can join the bootcamp right now and just take everything self-paced and still get everything. You'll still get the mentorship. You'll still get everything, and you can watch the videos when you want to watch them. You don't have to watch them live. You'll get access to the videos like within a day, right, of when they're launched, right? So that's a good thing to be thinking about. Google is much slower than Netflix, though. I thought there are way more growth mentorship opportunities in Netflix because you are one of the very few new grads, junior engineers. Then pick Netflix, bro. I don't give a fuck. Do you know anyone that has made it as a data engineer without degree? Yes, but very, 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 very few, right? What's your advice to get hired as a newly graduated student for roles in data engineering, data science, when most companies require experience when you don't have one? Apply, network, just put your resume out there, talk with people, just really, really like swing for the fences, and you're right. But understand that some companies are asking for experience, but they'll take someone without experience if they're the right fit, if they show and maybe you can make up for lack of experience by having a good capstone project. That's what the boot camp does. The boot camp gives you a good capstone project, right? And that's gonna be the way to do it. What is the difference between DBT and Talend? DBT is more code-based and DBT is better. Just do DBT. Just asking for your advice, LO. I have never been an intern at big tech, so I'm a shit person to ask. Let's see here. All right, guys, I have like probably enough time for 1 or 2 more questions. And remember, there still is a spot left in the boot camp if you want a spot left in using the New Year code, right? So if you want 30% off, you can use the New Year code right here, and you can actually still get it. There's only 1 more, though, because we sold 4 in like 5 seconds. So there's still 1 more left here, though. And yeah, everyone, I'm down to answer like one or two more questions, and then I will be out. So let's make them good. Let's make them some good questions here, so we can have we can finish strong here and be able to like have some good times here. And by the way, happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas, all that jazz and shit, right? So should be a good time. I love how it just got like iced, right? Icy silence, right? So yeah, I remember 30% off. You can get 30% off right now. I know one of y'all is gonna buy it in the next hour. So we'll go from there. But let's see here. Dude, I love how everyone just like, no more questions. I'm sad. I'm depressed. Oh, there we go. Someone. Best company for new grads, list them all off. Databricks, Robinhood, OpenAI, fucking Anthropic, Uber, Airbnb. I don't know, like Netflix, sure. Netflix is a good one probably too. I don't know. There's probably a lot of the other ones in that space that are good as well. Like there's a lot of up and coming companies. Perplexity is probably a great company to join right now. Nvidia, obviously. Like why not Nvidia? Like join. Like I'd say those are I'd probably pick one of those. Any advice for getting data for big data projects? I always struggle when trying to find big enough data. Just quit focusing on that. Like what does big enough mean? You know what I mean? You get what I mean? Like how do you know it's big enough? That's a way that like I think that's something that you want to figure out, right? Dude, good job, Marek. Marek picked up the last spot there, right? Would they hire with no experience and just a good project? I've had many students do that. Go watch my most recent video, Narendra. Go watch it. Like there's a thing called Job Ready Analytics Engineering Projects, and you will be able to be in there and be able to take advantage of a lot of that stuff. So, anyways, thank you everybody. Thank you everyone for taking the time today to talk with me. And let's see here. Did you enjoy the holidays? Yeah. I mean, the holidays are still going. They're still very much going. I'm busting my ass though, so like I love that. I would love to join your paid bootcamp, but it is too expensive. Sucks to be you. Your take on blockchain data? I think it's a very interesting and intriguing space. Like if you can learn how to like translate a lot of the blockchain transactions into data sets, I think that you'll be able to be a very in-demand data engineer for the foreseeable future. When does the free bootcamp close? And if so, will the videos be deleted? Yes, it'll be the end of January, maybe the beginning of February, right? Also, when is the last day to apply for the new bootcamp, the one in January? You have to give me money by January 4th. January 4th, you have like a week. Any more boot camps like full stack? I'm trying to find another instructor for that. I would love to have another full stack boot camp. Yeah, I have full stack expert for sure. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your holidays. This has been really